So, one thing that I've been trying to implement is before you do anything, just be still and just take a deep breath and just ground yourself in the present moment. The present moment is so spoken about because the present moment is all that there is. When you are aware in the present moment, you can think of yourself as being awake. Otherwise, just think of it in this way. If you are not present in the present moment, in the now, then you are hallucinating. You are causing yourself to trip out. It's like when you take a drug, you start tripping, right? You see things that aren't there. You're not really, you may not be that present, especially if it's something that's hallucinogenic. um, you're not really there. You're in a completely different world. For example, like magic mushrooms, right? You'll see something else. Okay. So that's why being present in the present moment is like not being drunk anymore. So all the time that you are not present, you're like a drunk person. What I'm trying to say is that you don't really have a great grasp on reality when you're not present. And the one way, well, there are many ways, right, to become more present. The way that we're going to be discussing today is through the body. The body is something that is your costume in this lifetime, right? It's your avatar. It is something that consciousness is welcome, I'm godly. Look at you. First one here, eh? Welcome in. But yeah, I was talking about presence today. So one of the ways that I like to become present through the body is through my breathing, through watching my breathing. So when you meditate, right, like one of the techniques in meditation is to watch your breath. To just sit there and just be aware of your breath. And every time your mind veers off, which it will veer off, of course, it's happening all the time. The mind has many many tricks up its sleeve to distract you, to make you think that something else is important, because you are not taught what works best for you in this lifetime, okay? You are taught on how to make this costume that you are wearing better, how to make it look good, how to make it speak the right thing, to act like a certain character, you know. It's not really teaching you how to take care of the thing that is wearing the costume. I'm wearing the Priya costume in this lifetime. I probably wore a different costume in a different lifetime, and I'll continue maybe to wear different costumes. We want to work with the costume. We want to be aware that we are wearing a costume, but we don't want to place so much emphasis on this costume that we are wearing. So it's about feeding the soul, like we have food that nourishes our body, right? We focus on that. We think about, okay, what is going to nourish my heart? Oh, okay, a relationship, love. What are my love languages, right? You probably know those things. You probably know what's best for you to eat, to drink, at what time, how much sleep you need to get. You are taking care of this costume. That's all great. That's wonderful. It's a good thing, because the healthier your vessel is, the healthier this character is, the easier it is for you to get in touch with your spirituality, right? Because who you are at your core is stillness. So of course it's difficult to get in touch with that stillness. It's not impossible, but it's difficult to think about the stillness within you when you have things to worry about, like your health. If you aren't healthy and you can't sit there and just be still because you're in so much pain, oh my god, someone made a fan page. No way. What? Who is this? That is so funny. That's hilarious. Um, but yeah, wow, you made me lose track of where I was at. Thank you, Steve. This costume is stunning, right? Yes, I agree, but it's not the totality of who I am. So the thing is, look, like I was saying, this costume that we wear, right? Like I said, I'm Priya. My name is Priya. I'm wearing the costume of Priya. I have come into this lifetime. I was born at a certain time. I was given a certain name. I have certain parents. Um, Siblings, a certain lifestyle, right? Because first of all, I pick these things. Second of all, it's for me to experience certain things. So think of life as a game, okay? Some people really suffer in this lifetime. And it's easy for us to look at them and say, um, you know, I feel really sorry for them. They're suffering. Um, But see, I don't see things like that anymore. Like, for example, when there was someone on live last time who said to me, I'm really upset my girlfriend uh broke up with me or something and I can't stop thinking about her. Well, to him, I'm not going to sit here and say, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. That's awful." I'm going to sit here and say, "Congratulations." Because suffering is the medicine, like they say in Sikhism, right? Suffering is the medicine. Suffering is the thing that helps you grow. Let me actually get it up because I really liked it. And I actually think I have the notes here, which is great. Um, Thanks, I'm godly. Let me pin that comment. Oh my, wow, it even lets me look at the top fans. Jeez, it's crazy. How do I pin this comment? A comment? Pin message. There we go. And that was really hilarious. Okay, let me get the notes up. Okay, suffering is the medicine and pleasure the disease. Because where there is pleasure, there is no desire for God. There's this lady that I talk about who's an enlightened being, Ananda Mamai, right? And I am not a motivational speaker, no. I would say that I'm a spiritual teacher. Let's stick with that. I'm if we want to give this costume a identity, then yes. Am I from the UK? Priya Rani fan number 2. I thought that you'd be a fan and you should know where I'm from. But I've pinned I'm Godly's thing, which tells you all the information about me. So it saves everybody having to ask and me having to answer and get interrupted in the flow of things, right? So, okay, we as human beings chase pleasure and we run away from pain, okay? Natural, right? We want to eat the yummy things. We want to eat chocolate brownies and ice cream because eating vegetables may not always seem so pleasurable. We don't want to work out because it's painful. We would rather sit and watch something, or I don't know, go drink some alcohol or whatever it is that you like to indulge in. The thing is, what happens is that we end up jumping from pleasure to pleasure to pleasure, right? Because look, your ears will want pleasure. You want to listen to good music. Your mouth wants pleasure. You want to eat good food. Then your eyes want pleasure. Then you want to see something. See Vinay. Then you want to see something beautiful. So you want to watch a movie. You want to go watch some live music. Your hands want to feel something. So you may want to, I don't know, touch someone or like, I don't know, what's good for the hands? Play an instrument, whatever it is, whatever feels good to your sense of touch. We are constantly trying to pleasure our senses, okay? And the senses are a way in which we can interact with our world, but they are not the be all end all. They are not absolute. Hi, Austin. Hey, everybody, welcome. The senses are not everything, but we're too busy trying to please them. We are too busy trying to gain fulfillment from objective experience. Let me tell you one thing, okay? And I really want you to hear me when I say this, if you'd like. you cannot find fulfillment in objective experience. What do I mean by this? You cannot find fulfillment in things outside of you. So you may think, oh, let me buy a new car, let me buy a new house, let me get a new girlfriend, let me eat at this new restaurant, let me go listen to this new piece of music that hasn't been released but I got my hands on. Let me go speak to this celebrity that I get to see because I get VIP access. Let me go visit this country and stay at this resort because it's the best and it'll look great on Instagram and everybody and all my friends and my exes are going to see it. These things are not going to bring you pleasure. But I really want you to think about your life. What have you been doing? You've been chasing pleasures, right? You'll go to work, you'll earn money, you'll come home and think, right, how can I pleasure myself now? And the thing is, all of these things that you do, they'll feel good in the moment, okay? They'll be very temporary. And the thing that it says in Sikkim is that when we are chasing pleasure, there is no desire for God. And this is true. Because speaking from my own perspective, sorry, let me just shut my window, it's kind of cold. Thank you, Vinay. Welcome to the familia. I don't have a name for this family yet, or this community. Should I? I mean, I'd like to welcome everybody. Maybe not shut it off. I don't know. We'll think about it. I'll have to speak to my marketing team, which is just me. Freaking hilarious. Okay. Yes, pleasure, right? We're always running towards pleasure. You're not gonna find pleasure outside of you. It doesn't matter what you buy. It doesn't matter how good you look, how many, I don't know, facelifts you get, if you get your lips done, I don't know, whatever it is. We have 3 eyes, but only use one. Why? Wait, what are the 3 eyes? These 2, and then the third eye? Is that the one that you're talking about? The thing is, see, we use our senses, right? Our eyes form part of our senses, but we need to use our inner eye, our inner sense of perceiving. We are too reliant on our senses, but think about it this way. The spectrum of light, no, not the spectrum of light, the spectrum of microwaves? Is it micro? No, the spectrum of something. Oh, that's so sweet of you. Thank you. I hope you're smiling too. Okay, the spectrum of what? What does the spectrum... my science, okay, no, okay, wait, yeah, okay, I get it, the spectrum of light, but what is it? Okay, spectrum of microwaves, gamma rays, etc. comes into what? The electromagnetic spectrum. Okay, the electromagnetic spectrum exists. Wi-Fi exists. Microwaves exist. Gamma rays, X-rays, they exist, right? But we can't see them. We can't even perceive them with our senses. But that doesn't mean that they don't exist. Therefore, if we can retain this piece of information and think, okay, things beyond my senses exist, then what else exists that I'm not aware of? And maybe it is the thing that is beyond my senses, that is beyond my sensual perception, that is the thing that I truly am, that is the thing that is my true nature, because it is. Because that's how you perceive God. You don't perceive God with your senses, at first anyway. It's very nuanced. Nikola Tesla said, if you knew the meaning of 369, if you understand the universe, if we see 3 pyramid, we'll only see 3, but because we are using only 1, 2 eyes, 6. Interesting. Am I Indian? I am Indian, yes. Just check the pinned comments for any information you need about me. See, it's interesting because there's this whole thing that happens where Egypt, a pyramid, 3 pyramid. the 369 method that's been introduced in Western like spirituality, where you write something down 3 times and 6 times and 9 times that you'll manifest something. But I believe the 369 refers to the cycle of creation. There are different steps to creation that are significant at 3, 6, and 9. I did have notes. It's esoteric information. So you have the exoteric, the mesoteric, and the esoteric. So the exoteric is like the person who just goes to a temple, right? They just go, for example, you go to the Gurdwara every Sunday, right? That's it. You don't really know much deep, like much, you don't have much depth of knowledge in Sikhism, for example, right? Just as an example, it could be the Hindu temple, it could be the church. Then you have the mesoteric, and these people are initiated, right? This could be the people working at the temple who have a deeper knowledge than the person who just goes to the temple on a Sunday. Then you have the esoteric, which is the deeper knowledge. These people are fully initiated into a religion. So yeah, there are different levels of that. And the people who tend to be in the esoteric level have information about the 369. Nikola Tesla was incredibly in touch with himself, with intelligence way beyond the limited ego of the human. He was in touch with divine intelligence. That's why he knew so much. Because anybody who has discovered anything or created anything, they didn't create it as per. Welcome, everybody. They received this information. We can't create anything. Everything that I am saying here is not original. It's an amalgamation of the things that have already exist, that I've seen, that I've created and curated into my own words. Does that make sense? So there is no original creation, so to speak, I think. You know, in this talk that I was listening to, it was the basics of Sikhi. What it was saying was that, like I said, jumping from pleasure to pleasure to pleasure makes you feel lost. This is why a lot of people feel lost. They don't feel like they know their purpose. When you're not connected to something higher than yourself, you feel like that. When you're not aware of your true reality, of your true form of who you really are, beyond this costume, this character that you are playing, it's not a fun place to be. It's really not a fun place to be, because you are led by your ego. And the ego is in survival mode all the time. When your mind is quiet enough, you're able to see that you never existed in your whole life. It's just a cosmic joke. Yes, ego, yes. Just a mind drama through which consciousness lives itself. Right? That's literally it. I couldn't put it better myself. That is it. It's a cosmic joke. It's a leela, okay? It's a play. It's a game. And you have to know that it's a game. What I see around me and what I do myself sometimes when I forget that I am God experiencing itself, I buy into the rules of the world, right? I buy into, I'm from the UK, Jacob. I buy into, okay, there's this system that exists. Oh my God, there's this system that exists. The economy's falling down. The government, I need to choose. I need to go vote. I need to do this. Certain organizations are doing this. This kind of war and conflict is happening in this country. It makes you go outside of yourself, out into the world, which is fake anyway, okay? It is Maya. And you can look at it as Maya. I want you to look at it simultaneously as Maya, but also as an extension of yourself. It is just you. Like Igor said, when you can quieten your mind enough, when you can be silent. The thing is, you don't need to be silent. You just need to be aware of the silence that exists within you. Let's do it. Okay, let's have truly a moment of silence. You can sit, you can keep your eyes open, you can keep your eyes closed, but I really would recommend just sitting and just being silent and just listen. What I used to do, right? When I used to smoke weed, I used to lie on my trampoline and I'd be high and I would just quiet down and then I would listen. The ability to listen truly really increases when you're high. Not that you need to be doing it. I'm not recommending or suggesting or whatever, but I'm just telling you an experience that I had. What you choose to do with your own life is, at the end of the day, your own responsibility. I'm not responsible, you know? But yeah, let's take a moment of silence. Maybe take a deep breath. Just become aware of your body, any sensations that you feel, the sensation of breathing in and out, any noises that you can hear. Don't tune them out. Listen, allow them, all right? Accept them, let them be. Being still isn't being in the quietest room or going to a mountain and just sitting there, because stillness is always within you. It is who you are. You don't need to go out and search for it. It is simply returning to yourself, to your true nature. And that is where peace is, okay? That is where fulfillment. And then you realize, what have I been doing? Why have I been searching for things outside of me? Joy, peace, stillness outside of me when it already exists within me. When we breathe in, we take a pause at the time, we can listen to Om sound. And again, we breathe out and take pause, we listen to the same sound, Om. So Vinay, are you making the Om sound or are you listening to it? Because it's true. I heard that when you truly become in touch with yourself, you hear Om, like you hear nature just making this Om sound, which is the primordial sound of the universe, right? The Anhad Nad, which they call in Sikhism, which they say that you'll hear when you become very in tune with yourself. Even if you can't hear it, just quieten down, just still, right? Stillness equals a regulated nervous system. A regulated nervous system determines how happy you feel, how fulfilled you feel, how much peace you feel, how healthy you are, how much wealth comes into your life, how much love comes into your life. If you look at rich people, like I knew a guy who was a billionaire. He was a literal billionaire, okay? He was the calmest person I have ever met in my entire life. And I would look at him and say, you're weird. What is wrong with you? Why do you not show any emotion? You're cold. You're dead inside. You know, because I was the opposite. But being wealthy and embodying wealth is embodying safety, embodying stillness. So you may want to be, in this lifetime, you want this costume, this avatar that you are embodying right now, right? Your consciousness is embodying this avatar. It may want wealth, it may want peace, it may want joy. Do less. Be still. Be still and know that you are God. I exist in this moment because you do. Exactly. I think of that sometimes. I go to places and I think, maybe it's coming from my ego, but I think, boy, you guys are lucky because you only exist because I exist. Like right now, y'all only exist because I exist and I am choosing to open this up to make you exist. And I love bringing everything back to me, right? Everything, like I said, I don't pay attention to the news. I don't pay attention to the economy. I don't pay attention to the rules society has made. Oh, you must get married. Oh, you must have kids. Oh, you must dress like this. Oh, you must act like that. Maybe there are points subconsciously where I still do, but I'm raising my awareness and my consciousness at all times, right? That's all I can do, to tune in and become aware of the things that I do on autopilot. Because people, when you are on autopilot, you're not living. You are not living. You are drunk. You are not aware. You are not with it. You're blacked out. You're either blacked out or you're there. You're present. When you're not in the present moment, you're blacked out, honey. Listening arm sound. You should try to take deep breath and then take pause. You can hear the heart rate of you. That's so cool. Spiritual goal is to love everyone. Takes one to know. You're just existing then. Hi, Saki. Hi, Wade. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, you know, recently, like when I go to the Gurdwara, they do mantra repetition. So they'll do Mool Mantra Simran and they'll do Waheguru Simran, which means repeating something over and over again. And when I do that, I can like feel sensations at this base of my spine. Every word you say, right? Like, okay, I want you to like I'm speaking right now. I guess you guys aren't, but if I just really tune in, right, and tune in with my body and then sense what my body feels when I'm speaking, I can sense vibrations in my body from the words I'm speaking. So I don't know if you guys know about cymatics. Cymatics is where there's a piece of equipment where they have almost, I think, sand on, right? And the piece of equipment makes a noise. So it creates different vibrations based on the different noises. So, for example, Om would have a particular shape to it. What other sounds are there? Ah, or hello, or happy birthday would have a particular vibration to it. That is why the things you say, you must be mindful of. A lot of times we just speak, right? We just say random things because we're on autopilot. How aware are we? How many times do you just stop, think, and then speak? It's Diwali. Happy Diwali, everybody. Happy Diwali. I don't know what is my purse in this world. Your purpose? Your purse? What is my purse? Purpose in this world. My sister is in the UK. Love that. We don't forget who you are. We didn't forget who you are. We just looked at a dream too closely for a while. The seeing that, notice the forgetfulness. Wow. It's true. We got lost in the dream, you know? We thought that the dream was real. For example, Andrew Tate. I know everybody asks me about Andrew Tate, but the one thing I would say about Andrew Tate, he seems like a highly conscious being based on the fact that I once heard him talk about how I think he doesn't dream anymore because he's super aware in his sleep, right? We are consciousness. That is your true nature. It's consciousness. It's a wakefulness, right? It's awareness. And when we're asleep, our awareness goes into like the unconscious realm. It's beyond our consciousness. But what seems to have done is maintain his sense of consciousness in his sleeping state. And this is called yoga nidra, which is an experience that I've had before actually. It was amazing. I woke up and it lasted maybe for about half an hour after I had woken up, and it felt like pure bliss. It was this sense of knowing that I'm not my body, that I'm not my mind. Where is Greg? I'm not sure where Greg is. Maybe I'm sure he'll join us in a bit. I think he was here yesterday on the live. Which Gurdwara do I go to? It's Guru Nanak Ji Gurdwara. Middle of sleeping and awake, you will find a spiritual dimension. Yes, exactly. Because, for example, they say that, you know, meditating at Amrit Villa. Amrit Villa is early morning. Well, I refer to, okay, first of all, don't like morning, saying morning, because the English language is, interesting. Um, the Brahmurta, the witching hour from 4 a.m. Okay, I mean, it starts at 2 a.m., I believe. So anywhere between 2 till like 4 a.m., wake up and meditate, right? That's the best time. The spiritual, the realm is thinner between the spiritual and the physical world. So it's very effective to meditate at that time. Everything is very quiet. There is more oxygen in the air. Maybe it's because not many people are breathing. I don't know, actually. It was this Swami Sivanandaji, whose podcast I watched a little bit yesterday. He was saying that, he was telling the lady about his habits, what he eats, what time he wakes up, and he said there's more oxygen in the air at that time, and it's more effective. And then there's the time of Sandhya. Sandhya is the time just before you go to sleep. There's loads of Guru Nanak Ji Gurdwaras for you. It's okay. I don't want to be giving out my location on the internet. Best time to meditate is 2 till 4. Yes, you said right. I'm confused. What did I come into? Interesting stuff. Welcome, Matthew. I guess you created this. Your consciousness created this experience for you to come into. And I love that for you. Due to less noise and calmness, it's more fruitful. Yes. Is it the time will be different in every time zone to do yoga at the time? No, so any time, in any time zone that you're in, 2 till 4. Because think of it this way, okay? Life works by procedural simulation, okay? It's like a game. It's like The Sims. You know The Sims is a video game. I think I've played it once. I believe it's The Sims. It's like a virtual world. You have a house. You can get a husband. You can get a dog. You can get a cat. You can get a certain job. Life is like that. But the only thing that exists in that Sims world is your the things near your what's that word? It's the word like for your surroundings nearby. Nearby synonym. Synonym? Whoa, my spelling. No, okay. No, okay, fine. Okay. No. Okay, so the only thing that exists right now for me, like nothing else exists other than my room right now that I'm in. My phone, my room. The world doesn't exist because I can't observe the world. The only thing that ever exists is the thing that you're observing. It's the observer effect, right? Did a tree really fall and make a sound if no one was there to witness it? The answer is no. Okay. Is it okay? At this point, I'm half aware when my body is asleep, so I'm able to change the course of my dreams while being aware, but my mind is not yet that clear to have dreamless sleep. I'm very close to get it. I love that for you, Igor. Amazing state to be in. Amazing state. How have you practiced this? What did you do something like? What would you like to share your your I was gonna say samasya, but samasya is like a problem in Hindi. Your I can't remember. Your spiritual practice, if you have one, in order to gain this. There's actually a book, The Tibetan Yogas of Dream and Sleep, that I did begin to read. Don't worry, no one's gonna stalk it already. You don't know that. Do you believe in second birth? As in like second birth. Like a rebirth? Like a rebirth. Yes, I do. I believe that we are transforming all the time. In fact, we are changing at all times. For example, let's say right now. Let's say you're sitting here, you're watching this live. You feel a certain way, right? let's say you get up, you go to the bathroom, you have a particular thought, which means that you feel a particular way, which means that you now come back a different person. Every moment is a new birth, okay? This is why in life there should be no such thing as boredom. How are you bored? Every moment is changing. Change is constant. How can you be bored? It just means you're not being in the present moment. It means you're looking for stimulation outside of you. You're looking for that dopamine hit that we're so accustomed to, which means that you don't have a regulated nervous system, which means that you invite chaos into your life. It's cause and effect. And you'll be stuck in cause and effect till you can connect to who you really are. Hey, Thomas, how are you? Welcome back. I used to be a little bad person, but when I started to change, after someday I quit and start again. Why would it be like that? I used to be a little bad person, but then I started to change. After the day I quit and start again, why would it be like that? Okay, interesting. Okay, first of all, the fact that you labeled yourself a bad person, I don't know, I'm not feeling that, because look, everybody has done wrong in their life, okay? Everybody has made mistakes. Everybody has hurt someone. Everybody has been the villain in someone else's story. I know I have, okay? I ain't no angel, you know? And no one is. I'm a hypocrite. I've been mean. I've hurt people. I've tried to manipulate, take advantage. I can admit that. Like I said, we all have, okay? So labeling yourself a bad person, why label yourself? Why get descriptive? When you get descriptive, you create an identity, and when you create an identity, you create a prison for yourself that you have to stay in. Because when we label something, when I say this is a bad phone, right, then it will only ever be a bad phone. I restrict it. I restrict the consciousness from changing, from forming and transforming. So lest we label things, lest we become really like this is good, this is bad. You don't have to verbalize things. You were just who you were. You were doing you were doing the best that you could with what you knew at that time. And the fact that you have the awareness to understand that you're doing things that you deem bad, they may be hurtful to other people. They're obviously hurtful to you if they're hurtful to other people, because when we hurt other people, we are hurting ourselves, because we are other people. I am you. If I sit here and I come at one of you and say, oh, you're like this, you suck, blah 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 blah, then I'm saying that to myself, you know. Listen to a podcast and now she thinks she's cracked the code. Oh yes, she does. We're good, Thomas. Blessed and highly favored. How are you? I want something sweet and nice, sleep, some fun and life. Okay. No philosophy needed. The thing is, you don't need to sit and meditate, okay? Just be aware. That's it. Whatever you do, you want to cheat on someone, do it with awareness. You want to, I don't know, hurt someone, be aware and do it. Don't choose a coward's way out and inebriate yourself, okay? Like, inebriate your consciousness and put yourself on autopilot. Hi from England. I mean, as in like, hey from Jamie from Texas. Do you Hindi? I do Hindi, yes. We all sin differently, but we're quick to judge another. I don't even believe in sin. The only sin is forgetting your divinity. So I guess I do believe in sin. Being fully present while awake is the only practice that's needed to clear the mind. Having an empty mind while awake is all that's needed to get to the point of being fully aware in the sleep. Okay, I love that. See, I do realize that I do see a difference between how aware I am during the day and how that goes into sleep. I mean, I like to go to sleep with an intention. It's something that I learned from Robert Adams' book about saying that you're connecting to the I am during your sleep. So I think it's really nice to say like a little prayer or like an intention before you go to sleep. Would you do those bad actions? I've done plenty of bad actions, okay. I meant the rebirth after death, not the image. Oh, okay, rebirth after death. So like, do you mean reincarnation? And hey Tristan, how are you? The manipulation, etc. Would I manipulate people? The thing is, look, I would manipulate because I was doing the best that I could with what I knew. I didn't know how to get things like love and validation. You know, because I didn't realize it comes from within me. So I would try to get that from other people outside of me, and I felt like I had to manipulate them into giving me that. I mean, I used to be very codependent as a child, so I felt like I had to perform for love, right? When we change who we are, when we pretend to be someone else, let's say you go on a date. You go on a date and you are going to bring your best self, right? You are going to dress in a particular way in which you can woo the other person. You know, you're going to talk about certain things. You're going to hide aspects of yourself. Not everybody, because some people can go and be super authentic and be very honest. But not all of us can do that. Most of the time, we go and give our best self, right? And then, is this not manipulation? We're trying to manipulate people all the time when we're not being authentic, right? But because being authentic is, I am who I am, and you either like me or you don't. Whereas, I mean, when I used to go on dates, I'd be like, okay, like, do I act too smart? Do I act dumb? Do I act like this? Do I do this? Oh, don't talk about this, Priya. Don't talk too much about this, right? Like, this, how many videos are out there? I used to watch them all the time of, oh, how to get a man to stay, how to woo a man, how to do this with a man, how to do blah, 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 blah. Like, and now I just think, yo, why would I watch any of that? Just be who you want. You're important, okay? You're important. Okay. Oh, jeez. The more conscious you are, the less bad actions you take because you know the action better. Yes, exactly. Kaha se ho, England se ho. Would you do it again? Would I do the manipulation again? No, I wouldn't. Not consciously, anyway. If it happens unconsciously, I'm not trying to justify it, but the only thing I can do, the only promise I can make to myself is to be as conscious as I can, right? If I'm conscious, I won't do that because I know the truth. I know that if I want love, I have to go within me. ब्रो एक बार हिंदी बोलो प्लीज. मैं हिंदी में क्या बोलूं? ओके, मैं एक कहानी सुनाती हूँ आपको. ओके, मैं है ना, मैं किसी धाम पर गई थी. Oh my god, I feel like I'm messing the Hindi up. मैं गई थी. मैं किते गई सी. It's turning into Punjabi. मैंने कोई आया, एक लड़का था, मुंबई का था, और वो मेरे साथ हिंदी बोल रहा था. मैं भी उसके साथ हिंदी बोल रही थी. तो बाद थोड़ी देर बाद मैंने उसको पूछा, मैंने कहा अभी मैं वैसे हिंदी इतनी बोलती नहीं हूँ, मैं पंजाबी बोलती हूँ ज़्यादा. आपको पता लगा भी हिंदी मेरी मैं इतनी फ्लुएंट नहीं हूँ. और वो कहता भी नहीं, ऐसा मुझे नहीं लगा, मुझे लगा भी आप हिंदी बोल लेते हैं. तो मैं if you know me, you know I've been trying to get Hindi on lock, you know. All the philosophy, everything always becomes from your ancestors. Never forget, and your credit where it's due. And like the British just hide everything from the world. Hey, all I speak, I don't own any of it, okay? How can I? Like I said, there's nothing such as original thought almost. Only God has that. Because everything that I'm speaking, I've learned from, it's come to me. It's not come out of me. It's come through me. Everything comes through you. I'm simply an instrument that is being played by God. I don't own anything. I don't own any of these philosophies. I don't own any information. I don't own anything. Okay, it's all God's. Hi, I will be doing Kirtan 26th October at Guru Nanak Gurdwara, South Birmingham, Stafford. Pop in if that's your local. Stafford Road. I don't know where that is. Interesting. I didn't know you do Kirtans, okay? What's your religion? I don't have one. साफ साफ इंडी लग रही है बोलती भी तो. I just don't understand why I can't change myself for doing good. Suck this. What does doing good mean to you? And what does doing bad mean to you? It's everybody's everybody has a different definition of that, right? Let's go into that. Typical crystal girl behavior. Oh. Okay, thanks. If you're going to hurt someone knowing that you're hurting someone. So what does that mean in terms of things like infidelity, etc.? Okay, so you are getting validation on this live right now on this live. Yeah, the thing is, I am getting people are affirming prayer. Yes, I think, yeah. Yeah, I guess you could say that I am, but it's about how I take that validation. Am I dependent upon that validation? Is that validation nourishing to me? Do I allow it to extremely affect me? That's when it becomes an issue. The dependency aspect of it is the problem. So yeah, if you hurt someone, hurt them and be conscious of it. Because it's very difficult to hurt someone when you're conscious of it. You won't continue. It's easy, like for example, let's say you have a parent who's an alcoholic. It's easy for that parent to be mean to you when they're drunk because you don't care. You don't care about anybody other than yourself, right? But when you're sober and you see the effect that this has had on that person, you feel it. So that's why, yeah, if you hurt someone, hurt them, but be conscious. Don't be a coward. I'm glad to hear that you're doing well, Tristan. I'm well, thank you. It's good to hear from you. What I mean to say is that you don't have to think of things so much, but live a relaxed life. This way you see right and truly without really trying. Yes, exactly. I'm gonna handle you. Oh my god, I love that. Like you said, you know, I said earlier, I honestly, the thought of going online and speaking to strangers and voicing my opinions would have scared the absolute shit out of me. But here I am. This little girl didn't know used to how to, I mean, the little girl I used to be did not know how to handle people saying things that were mean, I guess, or didn't align with me. And it was because I didn't have a regulated nervous system. I do now, so you can say whatever. Robert Adams was my guru for 1.5 years. I freaking love Robert Adams. Oh my god. Every single day until one day I saw that my eye doesn't exist, lol. Exactly. Eagle, have you met Robert Adams? I don't think he's alive. Oh my god. Yeah, I don't... is he alive? I don't know. I don't think so. I have been in touch with his work. I would see Pinterest posts of him, like quotes of what he would say, and then I have a book that I'm reading of his, Silence of the Heart. But yeah, I freaking love him. I get that was love. That was about before you knew better and learned to love yourself. But now, would I still manipulate? Of course I wouldn't. Why would I manipulate? I would be manipulating myself. Look, I used to try to, when I would be in a relationship, manipulating is trying to use somebody, right? Trying to take advantage of them. I would be trying to manipulate them, being unconsciously trying to manipulate them, right? Not really deeping it and thinking, whoa, I'm actually trying to manipulate someone right now. Like this is really happening. I would be doing that, but then what happens is I was the one being manipulated, right? So if I try to manipulate someone, you best believe I'm being manipulated because, first of all, you're doing it to yourself. Second of all, everybody is you. Like kindness. I think it was, if you're kind to someone, you're being kind to your liver because that's where the emotion of kindness is stored. People who are not kind to other people are not being kind to their liver. They have liver problems. You would only sit in a pile of poop if you can't smell it. Sin is kind of like that. You can't always smell it. Wow. Wade, I love that. May I know why you chose Priyavani as your username? Oh, okay. Priya is my name. And Ronnie was the name that I was given at birth, but that changed to my family, my surname. So Ronnie is an actual my legal surname, but I use Ronnie because it means queen. And also I just wanted to have, I guess, a different um identity for myself in that sense. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that question though. Whoever these whoever those Robert, Tom, all these copies on the philosophy from it. Okay. You're really pretty. Thank you. Being yourself is more important than changing for another person. Yes. Very true. Pretending. Wait, am I really behind in the comments? Oh my god. Okay. Sorry. Okay. After awakening, I started to understand over 40 what? Over 40 languages. Sometimes I'm amazed that I speak words in languages. That is so amazing. Ego. How? Oh my god. Interesting. Wow. And thank you. Mother tongue is just Hindi. No, my mother tongue is Punjabi. I guess you should never speak in Hindi. Hindi आप बोलते हैं शर्म मुझे आती है. Oh my god. Vinay. Wow. I feel like I might cry. Gosh, that's my shadow self. My shadow self just always wanted to be great at Hindi, and I'm sad. Yeah, eternal things come through us. Yep, Scorpio. Getting it from your viewers, cheap validation. Why do I'm not here trying to get validation from people. Why do you think that? And also, it's human connection, and that's sweet, you know? Oh, doing good, like be a good person, more religious person, bad means like smoking players. Okay, doing good, like be a good person, more religious person, bad means smoking play others person's feelings and other things. I'm not sure I can say it here or not. Okay, interesting. So just because you're religious doesn't mean you're a good person. Do you have a connection with yourself? Do you have a connection with the divine? Look, don't do it because you're trying to be a certain person. Do it because it brings you peace, your soul peace. It makes you happy. Things like smoking, is it good for you? Does it make you happy? What does it give you? Why do you do it? It's a form of escapism. What are you trying to escape? Can you sit with yourself? Because look, I used to smoke, okay? So I realized that I would smoke because I was incapable of soothing myself. I was incapable of sitting with it. Sit with the feelings that you were experiencing. So often we are told, like for example, in the spiritual world, right? Okay, observe them, observe them. Of course, observe them, but feel them. Allow yourself to feel them, to be in them. Give yourself space to be with them. Cradle them like they're your child. Your child could be throwing a fit, right? Your child could be throwing a tantrum. And you don't have to correct the child. The child doesn't get it. It's a child. It's beyond its understanding. Well, children are incredibly intelligent. I'm not trying to underplay their intelligence at all. But what I'm saying is when one is feeling particularly emotional, one can't think straight. So rather than be like, oh, shut up, because that's what you're doing when you have certain emotions. Think of your emotions as children, okay? There's a child called sadness. There's a child called jealousy. It's your inner child, okay? Let's just say that. It's your nervous system. So when that child is sad, what are you going to say? Oh, shut up. And then try to shut the child up and just be like, go away. You can't cry. There's not enough space for you. Or can you sit with the child? Can you listen to the child? Can you grieve with the child? Can you really allow that child to just feel what it's feeling? The thing is, it's difficult for us to do that because when we were children, we were told to shut up when we were crying. We were told, most of us, were told that the world doesn't have space for our emotions, that showing our emotions, expressing them, feeling them, is almost a weakness, but it's not. This is why you see so many people, they lack emotional intelligence, which is a basic skill that everybody should have. I'm glad you're enjoying it, Thomas. You answered my question. Sorry to make you delve into it too much. Don't be silly. It's okay. You're allowed to ask whatever questions you have. You look Indian. Are you? I am Indian. Yes. This Priya is Indian. Yes. What is God to you? God to me is everything. Everything is God, including me, including you. I'm inspired to start doing lives. I want to do Qigong inspired exercises. Thomas, you should, okay? And when you do, let me know, because I did Qigong. I think I'm pronouncing it right. I did it a little bit, I think a year ago, and I really liked it. To be honest, I was in my garden yesterday and I was trying to remember because it's very slow. It's like slow movement, but very powerful. And it works. It's like yoga. Yoga, I used to look at yoga and think, oh my God, what? It must be so easy. It's just stretching. And then, oh my God, you know, then you start to do it and you realize it's like so difficult, but it's so worth it. Am I British or Indian? I live in England. I'm not actually British. What is God to you? Is it just divine energy? God is everything. But yeah, you could say divine energy. Gana Sunado. Looks like you look Indian. Gana Sunado. It's not a singing channel, okay, but sure. Gana Sunado. I mean, I guess I can sing a Hindi song. You asked in Hindi, right? No, I don't want to sing. I'm really shy. Priyamani means loving queen. I love that. Hi Deepak, how are you? Saying God is spiritual energy is not enough. It's hypocritical because two people can say that and cannot act differently from the other. Why does good things? Yeah, God is everything. And there is only one type of energy that exists. There is only oneness that exists. So, and that's God. Do I have kids? I do not have kids. Doing good for yourself, having connection with God, what does that mean? These are broad terms. Doing good for yourself. Doing good for yourself. Okay, what I would say that means is listening to the voice inside of you, not your mind, not the ego, but the voice inside of you. Robert Adam talks about this. He says that you don't need to think so much. Trees don't think, animals don't think. And they are thriving compared to us. We are the ones suffering. We are the ones turning to eating and addictions and medication to soothe ourselves because we are going against nature. We need to be obedient to nature. And being obedient to nature means allowing energy to just flow through you. You wake up and you don't plan your day, right? That's what Robert says. He said, don't plan your day, don't plan your morning. Just look at what you naturally feel drawn to do. Your body will just take charge, right? Just let it take charge. One day, just give yourself that. Just say, I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to plan or script, because planning and scripting is taking God and saying, God, look, you don't know shit, honey. Okay, I know everything. I know what's best for me. Let me do it. Okay, I'm going to force my way through things. And you don't want that. Forcing your way through something is never great. So you have a natural intelligence that will flow by itself. Robert Adams isn't physically alive, but I listened to his songs professionally translated in Russian on YouTube. Oh, it's gone. Okay. But I perfectly understand it and now I speak it fluent. Oh my God, Igor, it's so cool. Oh gosh. I know I'll get that one day. I'll be able to speak over 40 languages. Including Hindi. Do I know Hindi? Yes. हम जानते हैं हिंदी, okay? हिंदी बोल लेते हैं हम. समझ भी लेते हैं. Punjabi भी बोल लेते हैं. Do you know Punjabi? If everything is God, is evil God as well? Yes. God is evil too. God is everything. God is the immoral. God is the unholy, okay? When we separate the two, we produce a dichotomy, okay? It creates an imbalance. Good and bad are on one spectrum. Hot and cold are on one spectrum. There is only oneness. There is only ever one spectrum. Life is just one spectrum. So the holy and the unholy, one spectrum. Good and bad, evil and love, one spectrum. lest we label things, you know, when we understand that everything is oneness, we work with non-duality, which is something that Robert talks about. You know, it's Advaita Vedanta, which is about non-duality, Hannah. If that's something you'd like to look into. Um, everything is God, so nothing is God. Yes. Have you lost your romantic relationship after awakening? I wasn't in one during awakening. But I can see why it would be difficult because of course you're on a different wavelength, you know, when you do awaken. Everything can be God in an ontological sense, but the person everything can be God in an, I don't know what ontological means. Let me search that up. Ontological meaning. Aye. Okay. Oh, okay. Relating to the nature of being, existence, or reality itself. What? Let me. Sorry, I'm just move this to the side. What does this mean in terms? What is the? As a state of being. Okay, so the ontological meaning of self. What is the self? Is it the body, the mind, the consciousness, or beyond something beyond? So what is real? What? Oh, I love ontology. Damn, I don't know that was a word for it. But the person of can't just be the creation, at least to something. See, the thing is, you aren't just the creation, you're the creator and the creation, but it's not you that I'm talking about. It's not the finite self that I'm talking about. It's the infinite self. God is the infinite self. God is the dancer and the dance itself. You can't separate the two. So if self-gratification is like good thing and it's not a bad thing, sorry if I asked something. Saktish, you never have to apologize for asking anything. Nothing is ever wrong. It's something that you felt like you needed to ask. And that's okay. Give yourself some grace. Self-gratification. Okay, self-gratification, I mean, the way that I'm perceiving that, the way, okay, meeting your own needs, is that what you're talking about? Like, would you consider that self-gratification? Because everybody takes things differently, right? It's very subjective. So for me, when you say self-gratification, it sounds like an addiction. Like, would that be self-gratifying? Like, I'm trying to soothe myself. I'm not talking about soothing behaviors. I'm talking about feeding the soul. Are we on the right path? Let me know if I'm making sense. God by definition has to be spaceless, timeless, immaterial. You understand God is not what academics consider God to be. See, academics are very limited though. I don't really care about what academics think. But that's right. God is spaceless, timeless, immaterial. The thing is, academics are ruled by the science, the old science paradigm of materialism. They believe nothing beyond time and space and matter exists, and they're wrong. They're wrong because it does. It's quantum physics, quantum science, right? If God is equated with everything or with impersonal energy, then the concept of God loses all meaning, distinction, because it becomes indistinguishable from the universe itself. Redundant argument. God is indistinguishable from the universe itself because there is only one, Maria, right? There's only oneness. So God isn't, we've made God into a separate being. We've put God up here on a pedestal and we think we're here, right? God is a white man in the sky with a beard saying, naughty, you know? It's the patriarchal God that we've introduced. That has been introduced, right? Hi, Pratham. So life has been expanding consciousness. At the root of this expansion is God, in my opinion. So life has been expanding consciousness. At the root of this expansion, God is at the root of everything, right? There is only God. I just know Tamil, don't know Hindi. Okay. I don't know Tamil. I only know Hindi. Not yet. I'll know Tamil. God, generator, operator, destroyer. Yes, God is everything. Okay, so God is evil then. If God is everything, then God is evil. Yes, God is evil. Wow, Manuel. Curry is great. How can you not like curry? Jeez. You're naughty. You get put on timeout. Hi, Glue. I would like to open my spiritual awakening. Okay, interesting. The thing is, when I was reading Robert's work, he said there's actually nothing to awaken because there's nothing asleep. Your consciousness never sleeps. It's always being, it's always aware. It's just becoming aware of it. You don't need to do anything other than to become more aware of the thing that already exists. An awakened relationship would be quite different than a pre-awakened relationship. I'd imagine awakened fish, rather. See, I don't think so, Wade. I think more and more people are awakened. We're going through an awakening. We're very lucky to be alive right now. We are going through the golden age. Life is gonna look very different, okay, from the past. Because we've moved into the age of Aquarius also. But yeah, things can only get better. We can only become more and more conscious. And the more conscious we become, the more enjoyable, I guess you could say, life will become. The more loving it will become. The more welcoming and kind and peaceful and abundant and easy it will become. God is athacological. Google if you don't know what athacol. Okay, let me Google that. Agatha cocaine? No, I'm kidding. Cacological. That's such a funny word. I love that word. Meaning. But that one, man. What a fascinating and rare word. Indeed. Vide Singh, composed of both good and evil. Agathos, good in Greek. Kakos, bad or evil, logical, pertaining to or characterized by. Yeah, God is athacological. God is everything. It's insulting to people who study philosophy and theology for you just to come and describe God as everything which God is, but it's such a simplistic understanding. It doesn't have to be complicated. People who study philosophy and theology, they get into the mind. You're trying to understand the infinite through the finite, okay? The mind is finite. God is infinite. So you can't explain God through philosophy or theology. How can you explain that which is infinite, that which is beyond mind? Using language. Do you have any idea how limiting language is? Have you ever tried to explain how it felt when you experienced something truly ecstatic, when you had a moment of expanded consciousness, or you experienced your child being born, or you won something, or whatever it was that was super meaningful to you? You can't explain feelings. So to think that we can explain God, the infinite, the timeless, the unchanging, through words, we can't. And if they feel insulted, well, they're in their ego, right? God is beyond the ego. I can't speak Punjabi, but you can teach me when you come to visit me and takes. Wow, interesting. I'm fluent in 3 languages. That's so cool. Assalamu alaikum. Walaikum assalam. Can you explain the spiritual feeding? I don't know what that is. Hello, can you smile? You will look great. What? No, I cannot smile. If I smile, it's because I choose to smile. By academics, I mean not people who use human naturalism. Academics is people who study the nature of God and such. Are they? I don't know that. Okay, interesting. See, the thing is, Maria, you can't... God is not something to be studied because God is beyond the senses. God is beyond language. God is beyond memory. God is beyond the mind. You can only study using the mind. That's why people find it difficult to understand what God is. It's because you have to go beyond the senses, beyond the mind, beyond the body. For the question you answered, can you... What the fuck? Why is God evil? Because God is everything, Moise. Look, in life, we've created this thing, right, where we think that God is only the good. God is only the pure, and that the bad is the devil. There is no devil. God is the devil and the good. Oneness exists. Ek onkar, right? Oneness. Every like religion, like Buddhism, Sikhism, Taoism, they all believe in oneness. Hinduism, there's oneness that exists, that pervades everything. We are all consciousness. I am you, you are me. I can be a good person, right? And I can be a bad person. Some people think I'm good, some people think I'm bad. Some people think I'm yapping, some people think I'm making sense. Just like that, God can be the same. Because God is not a being. I guess I'm attributing God to be kind of like a being, but God is not a being. Hey, high theory of everything. The more conscious you become, the more stupidly paranoid you are. I don't believe that. That's a belief that you have. I'm blessed and highly favored. How are you, God of? Yeah, I can't see that. Am I I will be streaming on Twitch, you know, and I feel like something that I was thinking about. I have a whole like list of things that I need to be doing with my channel, and I will be. Yes, but can an all-powerful God reveal itself to us and give us the ability to understand that? Of course it can. God is supreme power. Find God through your own digestion of life. Find whatever it is. Some people say God is hiding in that deep inner darkness. Only you can find out. Yeah, God is nothingness. God is in the void. God is in the silence. God is in everything. Do you believe like there are multiple gods or one only? See, when you ask it like that, it sounds like you're referring to God as a being. Correct me if I'm wrong. And God isn't a being. God is everything. Everything is God. Everything is God. Because look, you are not Moise, right? I'm not Priya. This is a temporary story. This is a character that I'm playing. I'm playing the role of Priya in this lifetime. You're playing the role of Moise in this lifetime. But who am I? Right? Like the word that ontological, right? It's about the ontology. Like if you study the ontology of things, you ask yourself, what is real? What truly exists beyond perception? Is consciousness the basis of reality or is it matter? And let me answer that for you. Consciousness is the basis of reality and it is beyond matter. Life beyond matter, time, and space exists. Thank you, Tristan. There's a whole study called Philosophy of Mind that addresses your point. And okay, I'll have to look into that. Thank you. Hi, Thor. There is like 5 minutes of delay. Oh shit, is there? I think, is it because I'm reading the comments kind of slowly? I'm just trying to get through them all. You guys agree good and evil are mutually exclusive. You can't have hot and cold at the same time. You can. Everything exists here and now. It is P and not P. It's a logical contradiction. From where you're streaming? My bedroom. Okay, by the way, you pronounce my name so correctly. Have you ever met another name? A guy named Moise too? No, I just read it. Yay! You can't have creation without God being a mind. Therefore, God has to be a personal being. You can't have creation without God being a mind. I don't know. God is the essence. Okay, let's say a flower, okay? We have flowers, right? The flower has matter, right? It's matter. We can touch it, I can feel it, I can smell it, I can see it, I can shake it and it makes noise. So it feels like it exists. It has a fragrance to it. I can't touch the fragrance, right? It has a particular essence to it, a particular energy to it. And that is God. The energy within the flower is God. The energy that is within us is God. You would like to ditch the topic. Moise, do you have a topic that you would like to discuss that is on your mind? Leisha? You love my zeal for God and godly lifestyle, but your understanding of God is very like fourth standardy. Interesting. Leisha, the floor is yours. You tell me, what would you say your understanding of God is? Of course, everybody's understanding of things are very subjective, right? We can only ever be subjective. Unless, of course, you become objective, which means to identify with the God self. But yeah, I'm open to hearing what you have to say. and discuss on how we can improve our life and enjoy what we have and work towards our goals. Moise, it's a very okay, how can you improve your life? You can improve your life by becoming more conscious. That's it. Oh, be conscious in every moment, be present in every moment, and that's it. How can you work towards your goals? Well, see, I refuse to have goals. Of course they pop up in my mind and my thoughts, but I'm aware of them. I don't want to follow any goals. I constantly remind myself to just be in the present moment and allow life to flow through me. There is a divine intelligence at work at all times. We are control freaks. We don't let go of control, right? We are constantly planning and trying to make things happen. What would happen if we just relinquished and we just surrendered to life and just said, God, it's all you? Not that you would just sit there, but you allow God to work through you. You're the instrument and you're allowing God to play through you. I don't know if any of you play an instrument. I don't, but when you play, like, let's say you're playing the flute. You as the flute player, let's say you are God, right? God is the flute player. And then the flute is a human being. And God is playing the flute, right? God wants to play the flute because God knows the tune of the flute. He knows how to play the symphony well in a way that will sound beautiful and is wonderful for you. But imagine the flute says no to the flute player. No, 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 you don't know how to do it. Let me do it. That's what we're being like when we're being control freaks, when we make goals, when we make plans. Of course, if you want to have goals, you can have goals. I'm just telling you how I am choosing to live my life with the feminine flow. And it's working wonderfully for me. So yeah, let's discuss our goal. Okay. In Orthodox Christianity, the concept you're referring to is essence and energy distinction. Okay. Interesting. Thank you for that. Let's discuss our goals. What is your goal in life? My goal is just to be awake. That's it. What do you want? What do you want to achieve at the end of this year? I don't think about the end of this year. I'm living in the moment. The end of the year might even not even come, you know. And the end of the year, it's like, okay, the concept of tomorrow and yesterday are silly because tomorrow never comes. It's always now. 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 Tomorrow never comes. Yesterday doesn't exist. It will never be yesterday. It's because I choose to live beyond time. Did you know that Christmas actually has nothing to do with the birth of Jesus? Yes, I believe so, but I would like you to tell me more about what it is. I think I did learn about this maybe 2 years ago, but I can't seem to recall. If you ask me, it's stupid not to have goals. Oh, thank you for sharing your opinion, Moise. It's the day Christians choose to celebrate his birthday. In 5 years ago, I didn't have a goal of getting into medicine. My dreams college today. I will be here studying. If I let it flow, I'm going to be stuck. Moise, have you let yourself go with the flow? How do you know you'll be stuck? Water flows naturally. That we have a natural water cycle on the earth, right? It's doing greatly. It was appropriated by the Christian priests in Rome, ancient pagan, who celebrated the ancient pagan festival. Oh gosh, I love paganism. Yes, I love that. I love that you're sharing this information. Ancient pagan festival, Saturnalia. Okay, tell me more. And of course, there's no offense. I love it. Christianity and Christian priests. I mean, Jesus was not a Christian. So, please look into the 3 theories of time. A theory, B theory, and the growing block. Okay, I will do. Food or money or God. They're all the same thing. Just facts. Will not be studying it. Okay, the person who mentioned Christmas is extremely long. I learned okay, he's wrong about the Christmas thing. Okay. What's right and what's wrong, right? Everybody's right. this is a dream. We don't need to sit here and discuss whether we're right or wrong, right? These are just little things we don't need to worry about. Life is not serious, guys. Mustn't take it so seriously. It is here to be lived, to be enjoyed, to be experienced. Know that it is a dream. Be still and know that you are God. That is kind of the motto for me recently, because I've been learning a lot about the nervous system and how the bridge between God and matter, right? Because God is not matter, it's the nervous system. If food is highest, you a beast. If money is highest, you a devil. And if God is highest, you divine. All choices are valid. Interesting. See, the who's doing the choosing? Who is doing the choosing? Is Priya choosing? Temporary Priya who will die, who doesn't actually exist, who's not even real, who's an extension of yourself, who's just a dream? Who's it that's choosing? There is no I. Every religion's God, every religion's God or gods fail the test of perfection and true morality as believers view it, even if there are lessons and beauty within the books or the sect are based on. Every religion's God. I think we have humanized God. I think that's where the problem comes from. You know why? Okay, so I love Sikhism, right? I love learning about Sikhism. Welcome, Shubham. What are we discussing? We're discussing all things consciousness and just going with the flow and seeing where things take us. But at the moment, we're going to be discussing a question that Thor just asked. Well, a statement that he made. Okay, I like Sikhism, right? And in Sikhism, Guru Nanak Ji was the first guru, right? And I was sitting there thinking, how happy would he be? Like, how well does he think that we are living his teachings? Like, people who are in Sikhism, would he be happy with that? Would Jesus be happy with Christians and how they're living their life? And what I think you'll find is the answer is no. They would not be happy because we're not following the teachings. Because we have an uncanny ability as human beings to take what we hear, to manipulate it, right? To mold it into something that suits us and then follow that through. This is why religion looks the way that it does. It's because it has been manifested into the world, come into fruition in the world through human beings who are not perfect. Well, the ego isn't perfect, right? But what is perfection anyway? It's like a whole thing. You're asserting things without any basis for consideration. Okay, interesting. Thank you for the feedback. Does one need to know perfection to test it? Most religions make God in their image. Exactly. That's true. Priya, people aren't equating God as human. Personhood is not equal to human. Well, I guess it depends who we're talking to, right? Because if we think God gets angry and God is fearful and God is judgmental, etc., of course it's not everybody, but some people think that, right? Like this whole concept of sin. I don't think God sits there and says, oh my God, you're naughty, why would you do that? That's so bad. I feel like I need to punish you now, right? Tell me about the Torah or the NT paint God in that image. How does I'm not familiar with the Torah or the NT. I don't know what the NT paint God. The NT? What's that, Anne? What about chanting? Chanting? I like chanting. Truth is just one. Live the truth. Have love in your hearts. Yeah, I love that, Shubham. Karma. See, Robert Adams talks about how when you're still living in this world of I, the personal story, then you are subject to cause and effect and things like karma. But when you realize that no I exists, then you go beyond that because you become to identify as pure consciousness, and the only thing that you see around you is pure consciousness. Oh, thank you, Ron, for your feedback. It's okay. I don't need your pity. Great to know you have no understanding of sin but believe in karma. Well, I just said that karma only exists when you're living from the mind, when you're living from this temporary story. Because when you are living from God, the God state, then there is no karma, there is no cause and effect, there is nothingness. One question: we are soul or body? We are consciousness, which manifests itself and looks as if it's a soul and a body. But if you look, when we take the body, right? If I take this body and I zoom into it using a microscope, what do I see? I see atoms. Then what do I see? If I look further, I see subatomic particles. What about if I go a little bit further? Then I see energy waves. What about if I go a little bit further? I see nothing. So the body isn't even real. Just because your senses can perceive it doesn't mean it's real. There are things that exist beyond your senses. Did Jesus bring God's feminine side to us? Turn the other cheek, love thy neighbor. God is to be loved, not feared. These seem like feminine response to power and fear. Yeah, love thy neighbor because you are thy neighbor, right? And of course, God is to be loved because everybody is God. What is there to fear? There is only oneness that exists. We're only scared of the other, but if there is no other, then what are we scared of? How can karma evaluate your fruits if there is no sin, if there is no good or evil? Look, good and evil is decided by you. You dictate and decide what is good and evil. You can sit here and say, I'm good or I'm evil. You can sit here and say that I am spreading wonderful information, like wonderful wisdom. We're having a great chat. You can sit here and say the absolute opposite, which is there's a polarity, right? In the comments, some people definitely don't get me. They think that I'm just talking a whole lot of shit, and other people kind of get me, and other people get me, right? So it's because you labeled it as such. There is no objective good or evil. What we think is good in this country, other people may not think, your neighbor may not think is good. What you think is evil, your neighbor may not think is evil. So what is good and evil? Killing is evil, but going to war for your country is something to be highly revered and respected and honored. It's just context, right? Things are very fluid. You don't understand what turning the other cheek means in context of Second Temple today. It's not okay. Answer my soul, example my hand, my eye, who, wait, is it? Why do we need to label something as good or evil? Darsh, you're confused. That's okay. It happens. I guess you joined late, maybe? Why do we have to label anything? True intelligence is being able to witness things without labeling them, without judging them, without putting them into a box. God doesn't have opinions. God doesn't like and dislike things. God doesn't feel happy. God doesn't feel sad. God is timeless. God is changeless. God is permanent. God is infinite, right? This whole, is it good? Is it bad? Is a human thing. It's a thing of the mind. Is it desirable or is it not desirable? That's what we're constantly doing. The body is important, of course, yeah. The unique point of reference in the infinite field. Well, the body is the vehicle we have in which through to experience the world, right? You just, yeah, just went. I like unconditional things. Peace. Um, Louise, you missed it all. We spoke about how to achieve everything in your life, how to achieve all of your goals, and you just missed it. Hi Barth, welcome. What going on now is all about God, Allah, religion, race, sad world we live in. What's fearless in Hindi? I'm not sure what it's in Hindi, but in Gurmukhi it's Nirpa. I feel like the thing is, look, conversations about God will always be polarizing, confusing. Well, okay, I mustn't label it as such, but they may be confusing and polarizing, and we may disagree, right? Because everybody comes with their own you said morality is subjective, but you claim it's an objective one. Yeah, see, Maria, I am a hypocrite. That's it. I'm a hypocrite. Anytime I speak, I'm being a hypocrite. That is the truth. I can sit here and accept it. Hold this up. Every word is about religion, land, and beliefs. Yeah, I get that. The thing is, a lot of wars started happening when we turned into a patriarchal society and we had a patriarchal God. Before we had that, when you look into history, at the period of time before patriarchal religions existed and a patriarchal society existed, there weren't any wars in a sense of we are going to gather thousands and millions of people, of soldiers together. We are going to collect weapons of warfare and unitedly go and attack someone. Like, there was no planning like that. It only occurred when Maria, how is the world currently patriarchal? Interesting. I speak Sindhi. It's an ancient language, like thousands of years old. I believe the timeline is Sanskrit. That's so cool. Would I be interested in discussing spirituality and God with a panel of people? No. I don't really care for it, you know? Which sounds, I guess, hypocritical, but like I said, I'm a hypocrite, so that's okay. I'm here discussing these things. I don't need... look, like I said, God is not something you can never know God by discussing God. God is something to be experienced. And I'm trying my best, and I know that I should just be silent and just let things be. But I do enjoy talking about these things. But yeah, I am a hypocrite. Maybe I should just get it tattooed on my forehead. Ki the Sai from India. Yo. Hi, Michael Dawn. How is the current world patriarchal? Let's define patriarchy, Maria. It's interesting that I'd like you to define patriarchy. What you think I mean by patriarchy? Because it's interesting that you don't know that it is currently patriarchal. Darsh, no, there are no specific topics. We kind of just go with the flow of things. Laws that favor men for men. Someone that I look up to or maybe follow. I like Robert Adams currently. What am I typing? I was typing about patriarchy, okay? So Maria, patriarchy is a social system in which men hold primary power and dominate roles in political leadership, moral authority, social privilege, control of property and resources, and often decision making within the family structure. So it is beyond just laws, it is the whole social system. If you Google our survey, it will give you the answers you want. You should have discussion with people in opposing views else. Interesting. Yeah, of course. I'm open to it's not like, oh no. But look, if I just sit here and tell you my opinions and you tell me your opinions, what am I doing? I'm not coming with any information, like information from history or like studies or things like that, or understandings. All I can come from is my opinions, right? And we can sit here and argue forever over my opinions. Am I a Scorpio? Yes. LCB. Saying it's been laws is not going to get you anywhere. You have to show instances where the political body feels. Maria, I do not have to show you anything, okay? I don't have to prove or disapprove anything to you. You can go and do your own research because I feel like you're not here to it's what I'm getting. It may be not the case, but I'm not here it feels like you're here to win and not to understand. I'm not gonna argue with you. I don't have to convince you of anything. It's not gonna change my life. God is more an experience than a fact to be debated, in my opinion. Yes, exactly. Exactly. God is an experience. So hence why it's, difficult to, I guess, get the point across without people getting confused. Somalia, you asked a question. What was the question? So do I like it? Do I like what? Do I like what? Hi everybody. Your answers are really good. Are you a professional debater? I am not a professional debater. Oh, okay. No, I had siblings. The thing is, I think I don't know. Why would I allude to the fact that I can debate? I had siblings. I'm kidding. Yeah, exactly, right? I don't wanna be arguing with people. And to be honest, it's a waste of my energy to disagree with people. So I'd rather not. Because we're not gonna get anywhere. We can't gain anything if I'm just trying to argue with people, you know? If you've decided that and you are sticking with to your guns about things, if you're not open to like changing your opinion or opening your mind. And look, I may come across, and at instances I may be the same, okay? When you say something, I may not be open to it. And that's okay, because I admit that I'm a hypocrite. I can admit that. We all are, okay? We all are. Not that, to be honest, I don't need to say that to make myself feel better. I am a hypocrite, period. Point blank. Do I like the dominance or not? Do I like the dominance, like the patriarchal dominance that exists in society? Probably not. But I try not to like or dislike anything. I just let things be, you know. I just accept things the way that they are. Okay, you'd like to hear more about the relationship between consciousness and matter and time and space. So, okay. matter, space, and time are a product of consciousness, right? They are, so consciousness is absolute, and then we have time, and then we have space. But what we believe, especially in science, is that time, space, and matter are absolute. That is what, pardon me, that is why you look at a lot of scientific research. It's to do with testing, right? Experimenting. Okay, let's have an independent variable. Let's have a dependent variable. Let's test. Let's see if they can be replicated. If it can be replicated, then it's valid. But okay, how can you measure something like love and compassion and kindness? And like, how can you measure these things? You can't. Does that mean they don't exist? So does that mean things that can't be measured and proved time and time again don't exist? I don't take medication, okay, Moise? What give you the understanding regarding karma and everything? You read it somewhere, right? I didn't just come to you, right? Okay, you know what? Let's do this. Bye-bye. What came first, the egg or the hen? God. Oh my God, how can you have consciousness without a mind? Consciousness is a product of the mind. It's not a product of the mind. Consciousness is not a product of the mind, because when you become enlightened, you go beyond the mind. Are you telling me, for example, okay, let's say this way, if consciousness is a product of the mind, let me think about this. When the mind isn't present, let's say you're in a coma, right? The mind isn't present. Does that mean there is no consciousness? Do you cease to exist? Please learn the philosophy of the mind. There's a whole study behind it. Okay, how? Thank you, Hannah. Am I Indian? I am Indian. Priya is Indian, yes. Last time I checked, she was Indian. The body is not a product of the mind. There is an energy, there's a power that exists beyond the mind and the body. When you can go beyond the mind and the body, then you find God. Because God exists beyond the mind and the body. Life is like very bad. Wearing I just realized, Priya, do these lives expand her capacity for patience? You know, I think they do. I really think they do. I think that's they're happening for a reason, right? I could sit here and say, no, I don't want to go live. I don't like it. I don't like it when people like test me or push me or like question me. To be honest, that sounds really like, of course people are going to question me. Of course, I need to understand that I'm going to come on here and I'm going to talk about things and not everybody's going to get it. And that's okay. You don't have to get it, you know? It's not a prerequisite for you to be on this live. We're always learning, right? And everything happens for a reason. When I get drunk, I'm sober over the fact that I'm getting drunk. Why does the deepest self stay sober? Consciousness is beyond the mind. Exactly, Wade, right? But your accent doesn't seem Indian. Abhishek, I'm Indian, but I don't live in India. Do you think consciousness is part of all creation or all matter? You're coming out with so many interesting words. I'm gonna start writing it down. You know, when I used to be younger, I really liked English, as in like the subject. And I decided, I read this book that was about, you know, if you sleep on a book, you'll gain all the knowledge from the book. So I used to sleep on my dictionary. Yeah, fun fact. Panpsychism, mind, soul, consciousness. a view or a theory that consciousness is a fundamental universal feature of all things? Yes. Panpsychism. That's correct. Everything that, wow, I need to write these words down. You know what, let me write this down. Okay, because these are cool words, I guess. But then it's like, just, let me write it down anyway. Panpsychism. Oh. Still has neck problems. Me? Hello, did you wake up with more words in your vocabulary? I don't think I did. Am I venomous? Yes, I am. Into the Philip Goff critique of panpsychism. Okay. And the Philip of panpsychism. Okay, I will try to look into that. I mean, if you want to tell me a little bit about it, we can also discuss it. Wait, you know what? Let me just check something. Give me a second. Basic truth matters. So why do I have to look into it? Why don't you just give me your opinion on it and we can discuss it? Otherwise, I'll just become an echo chamber. Oh, she's a bitch when she wants to be. Knowledge equals power. See, I think to know thyself, to know your truth, that's true power. Knowledge is okay if you apply it, right? Life is a movie playing itself. Go beyond mind, even beyond the idea of consciousness, and only I am remains. This timeless moment, every moment is a new universe. Its true name is love. I love that. Wow, I love that. I should pin that. Let's pin that. Replace pin message. Yeah, there we go. We'll replace it. But yeah, that's literally it, you know. You can tell that you've been listening to Robert Adams. I feel like I have to listen to more of his transcriptions. Is that what they're referred to as? Yeah, transcriptions. I love reading just a little bit every day, like especially something from Robert or something else that kind of anchors me. Not that it's something that I need to depend on, because of course, you know, Robert teaches, like, for example, self-inquiry and how self-inquiry can really help you. Like for example, how I always refer to myself as in third person. Like I like to, you know, like, yes, Priya is Indian. Yes, Priya thinks this way. Yes, Priya is a hypocrite. I know I didn't say that in third person, but I'm saying it now. Because I constantly want to drill it into my mind that I'm not the mind, that I am beyond the mind. It's the mind, the product of the mind, this ego, this personality, these likes, these dislikes. You visit ISKCON temple. I have not. Is that in India? And you love my eyes. Thank you. I guess you'd have to be a rock to find out, Anna. The rock is aware of beingness. Because look, everything is consciousness, but it's operating at different levels of consciousness, okay? So a rock would have a lower, it has consciousness, but it has a different level of consciousness compared to a human being, compared to an animal, compared to a plant, right? So you'll have something like a rock, and then you'll have a plant that has a little bit more consciousness. Then you'll have an animal that has a higher consciousness, right? Animals have almost like a group consciousness. That's why they don't have an identity. That is why they can go through evolution, because it is natural for them. Whereas as human beings, our expanding our consciousness is our duty, our sole duty and responsibility. But a lot of people don't like to take responsibility of expanding their consciousness. That is why we get into things like group mentality, right? That is why we like to have a leader. We don't want to think for ourselves. We want to rely on the government. Like, come on now. Who relies on the government? Like, why are you going to sit at home and say, oh, I really need to vote for the right government, so the right government comes in and then life changes for the better, and only then can I improve my life? Like, that's giving away ownership of your life. Conscious versus the subconscious. So the subconscious, to be conscious is the same for awareness, right? Wait, is it? Yeah, and then consciousness is beingness. So the conscious versus the subconscious. So the subconscious, let's pair it together with the unconscious. So the subconscious and the unconscious is your body. It's your nervous system, it's your body, I don't believe a gum wrapper has emotions. That's an opinion that you have. So you're a human that has a high level of consciousness, and then God by definition has to have a high level of consciousness than us humans, but your order of elevation has mind in it. See, the thing is, the way that I try to explain it with language, it's difficult because it produces a hierarchy, and consciousness is oneness. It's a spectrum. You know how I said everything's a spectrum? These matters can be confusing to understand, but everything is a spectrum, right? Hot is here, cold is here. They're on the same level, yet there seems to be, you could say, if we did it in terms of temperature, that the highest would be heat and then cold would be at the bottom, right? A hierarchy is introduced. But I don't want to go into like, oh, rocks have lower and then animals, like, even though I know I said that, but that's just because I'm trying to kind of explain it. Subconscious, you're not even aware of your surroundings. Yeah, so we are actually ran by our subconscious unless we're aware, right? So this is why, so the things that you are not conscious of, like your shadow side, the more you repress and suppress things, the more subconscious they become. Hi. The more subconscious they become, and then the less aware you are of them, and the more they run your life. If you have consciousness and it's a product of mind, then God, having heard of God, should also have a mind. Consciousness is not a product of mind. God is beyond mind and matter and time and space. God can only be attained beyond mind. A lot of unconscious drives. Yeah. So, I have a lot of videos on the shadow self, which is, like what Carl Jung talks about the shadow self, about the parts that we repress in our psyche. It's where we lack awareness of them, so for myself, right, I'm a Scorpio, so I know I'm getting into the character of Priya, but let's get into the character of Priya and what, etc. Have I read anything on how consciousness emerges? It's always a product of the mind. That's interesting, Saga. Where have you read that? I have not read that. Hi, Krishna. Shama. Love the energy. Okay, what was I talking about? Where we surround. Yeah, so Carl Jung. the shadow. I used to have a lot of things that I was unaware of. I was trying to be a good girl, right? I grew up codependent, be a good girl, be seen and not heard, act a certain way, be obedient, then you'll be appreciated, you'll get validation, right? So, because I was so desperately trying to be one end of a spectrum of good and bad, I was completely unaware of the bad, right? That existed within me. So this looked like being resentful, being bitter, being angry, being passive aggressive, being mean, being manipulating. They were all aspects of my shadow that I couldn't see. I thought I was a good person, but no one is good and no one is bad. We can't label um people as such with one word. You are the whole universe. How can I just give you one name, one adjective, and say this is what you are? You are good. You are bad. What? I'm sorry, what? um Saga YT, I really love that you are brave enough to search into the reality of life, that you are interested in such matters. And welcome to the channel. I hope that you can bring about you can be here with an open mind, as I'll try to be also. Venomous, whatever you had for dinner. I haven't had anything yet. You were saying that there is no good and there's no evil. What do you think about terrorists? I don't think of them. I don't label them. I let them be. Why do you have to label everything? It's the mind. Go beyond the mind. And Saga, you think that consciousness is a product of the mind. Okay, if you were in a coma and mind doesn't exist, do you cease to exist? You don't, right? What does the Scorpio do? The Scorpio chills. The Scorpio is existing. The Scorpio is being alive. What is OCD then? OCD is just control issues, no? I guess it's a form of people pleasing when you really think about it, except for it's with things and not people. I guess it could be with people as well. You're relying on your outside external environment to feel regulated inside. It's a lack of trust. It's a lot of fear. And thank you for your question. And thank you, Calm. I appreciate you. Priya appreciates you. People can't think so, dude. Just be normal. I don't know how to be normal. I don't want to be normal. You'll be left alone if not. I can't be left alone. I am everything. How can something that is everything be left alone? If you're in a coma and you don't have awareness and consciousness, it's not that your being is there. Consciousness. If you don't have, then you're dead, right? Surely you're beyond dead. Then why parents, teachers, and almost everyone is saying that all should become good? Because they have learned. Just because they say it doesn't mean that it's true. They say go to school, go to university, get a job, get a mortgage, work, do this, do that. That's nonsense. You don't have to believe everything they say. They teach you what they've been taught. Is it working for them? Look, don't focus on being good, okay? Being good is very vague. Love, compassion, kindness, these things come naturally through you. Children are naturally kind, loving, and compassionate. It's only when we get older, when we are further, when we have indoctrination by the world, by people's opinions on how to be, that we skew from that. So your natural state of being is one of love and kindness and compassion, which yes, you could label as good. Because it's harder to be mean. The thing that's mean is the ego. It's not your true self. Because God is love. But I mean, I get like God isn't. Oh gosh, stay hydrated. What made you think like this? Trauma, innocence, of books, everything. Nisha. Thank you, Nisha. Thanks. I appreciate you. I'm glad you're liking it. No, as in like, am I? I'm not attached to it. Oh man, I need to stop speaking. I've actually been speaking for 2 hours now. How do I do it? The discussion was about the truth of life. It's an object of good or evil. How do you then say kindness and compassion is good virtue? I'm pretty. Did I not mean? Look, Ron, you're right. Okay, I'm wrong. You're right. You win. Yeah, you're right. That's it. That's the end of that conversation. Then go to Isha Comparator and spend a month there. I would love to go there. Whoever does not love does not know God, because God is love. Oh, I love that. The truth of life. Yes. So, I would love to get your name, by the way, so I could refer to you as that. The truth of life, the truth of who you are, the truth of your essence. Are you just your body? Or are you something beyond that? You can't understand a single word. You don't understand a word. Okay, Manjeet. Is there any way in which I can help you understand? Let me know. But yeah, the truth of life. Knowing who you are. One simple truth, party hard and don't be an asshole. I like it simple. Can you please little Indian in accent? Yeah. Can I be a little Indian in accent? Okay. Actually, guys, I'm gonna call it a day. It's been a pleasure. Welcome to everybody who's new here. And I'm sure I'll see you soon, okay? Thank you, everybody. Goodbye.